Did you know not all popes were holy? Some weren't just flawed. They were deeply controversial figures whose actions shocked even their own time. Today, we're diving into 10 of the most controversial popes in church history. Real, documented events that have been buried deep in the Vatican's shadows. This video is based on verifiable historical sources. It's not meant to attack the church or your faith, but to shed light on lesser-known chapters of religious history that are both fascinating and disturbing. This is just the first part. Stay tuned for the next video, where we'll explore even more popes with shocking scandals. If you're moved by these stories, leave a comment to pray for our church and ask for divine guidance. Let's get started. 1. Alexander VI, Rodrigo Borgia. Pope Alexander VI, born Rodrigo Borgia, is often regarded as one of the most corrupt popes in history. He used his power as pope to elevate his own Borgia family to unprecedented heights, securing vast wealth and political influence. His papacy was a nightmare of bribery, immorality, and nepotism. Alexander fathered multiple children with his mistresses, most famously Cesare and Lucrezia Borgia, who became notorious figures in their own right. He openly used bribery to buy votes for his papal election, a practice that would forever taint the church's credibility. One of the most infamous events during his papacy was the Banquet of Chestnuts, a decadent orgy held at the Vatican, where cardinals were reportedly involved in sinful sexual acts. This event symbolized the complete moral decay of the papacy under his rule, making Alexander VI a symbol of corruption and excess. 2. Sylvester II, Gerbert of Aurillac. Pope Sylvester II, also known as Gerbert of Aurillac, was a man of great intellectual achievement, known for his contributions to mathematics and science. However, his ambition to reach the papacy came at a terrible cost. Sylvester was rumored to have made a deal with the devil in exchange for the knowledge that led him to power. He was known to study occult texts and was said to have built a talking bronze head, powered by demonic forces, a mysterious artifact that terrified those who believed it was enchanted. Even during his final days, Sylvester reportedly feared divine retribution for his dealings with dark forces, which, in the eyes of some, painted him as a pope who sought to use forbidden knowledge at any cost. His papacy was not only about intellect, but was clouded by these mysterious and controversial acts. 3. John III. Pope John III is remembered as one of the most debauched and irresponsible popes ever to wear the papal crown. Elected at the age of 18, he wasted no time turning the papacy into a center of sin and debauchery. He lived a life of parties, affairs, and reckless behavior. He openly sinned with multiple women, including adulterous affairs, even blessing thieves and criminals. John XIV's papacy was marked by bribery and nepotism, and he was accused of sacrilege and blasphemy. Some even claimed he conducted rituals to the devil, marking his papacy as one of the darkest periods in the history of the church. He died in disgrace, allegedly during an affair with a woman, a tragic end fitting his corrupt and indulgent lifestyle. His papacy left the Vatican deeply scarred and filled with scandal. 4. Stephen VI, the pope who put a corpse on trial. Pope Stephen VI may have had one of the most bizarre and grotesque acts ever carried out by a pope. His cadaver synod in 897 was the trial of a dead man, his predecessor, Pope Formosus. Stephen VI, in a fit of hatred toward Formosus, had the pope's body exhumed, dressed in papal robes, and seated on a throne in front of a court. The corpse was accused of perjury, violating canon law, and other charges. Stephen VI conducted the trial with complete seriousness, shouting at the dead body in front of stunned onlookers. After the trial, the body of Formosus was declared guilty, stripped of its papal robes, and thrown into the Tiber River. The cadaver synod shocked the church and the world, showcasing a pope willing to desecrate a corpse to settle personal scores, making Stephen VI one of the most disrespectful and morally bankrupt popes in history. 5. Boniface VIII. Pope Boniface VIII is remembered not just for his papacy, but for his absolute belief in papal supremacy. In his infamous papal bull Unam Sanctum, Boniface declared that salvation could only be achieved through obedience to the Pope, making him one of the most authoritarian popes in history. His belief in papal supremacy led to bitter conflicts with King Philip IV of France, whose efforts to undermine Boniface's authority led to the Pope's violent response. Boniface VIII's clashes with secular rulers weakened the authority of the papacy and set the stage for the eventual Western Schism, where the papacy was divided. Boniface's rule was also marked by brutal political schemes, and his downfall came when he was accused of heresy, idol worship, and debauchery. His death in disgrace was seen as a divine punishment by many of his enemies. 6. Benedict IX. Pope. Benedict IX was one of the most chaotic and controversial popes in history. He became pope at a young age, and his rule was marked by violent power struggles and rampant corruption. Benedict IX was known for his viciousness and greed, including murdering rivals to maintain his position. He sold the papacy to others and was excommunicated multiple times. His chaotic reign led to widespread discontent among the people, and he eventually resigned under pressure. Benedict IX's time as pope was a nightmare of murder, betrayal, and political instability. 7. John XIII. Pope John XIII was an example of corruption within the papacy during the 10th century. His reign was marked by widespread simony, the buying and selling of church offices. John XV was complicit in this scandalous practice, which caused a deep moral crisis within the church. His focus on political alliances over spiritual matters contributed to the decline in papal authority. The papacy became increasingly controlled by powerful families and secular forces, leaving the Vatican weakened. 8. Urban VI. Pope Urban VI is known for his hostile temperament and brutal actions against his enemies. After his election, he purged the church of those he saw as rivals, and his violent behavior toward cardinals led to his excommunication by a large number of them. Urban's actions were so controversial that they caused a schism in the church, the Western Schism, where two rival papacies existed for decades. His reign was a time of political instability that fractured the papacy and weakened the church's unity. 9. Clement VII. Pope Clement VII is perhaps best known for his failure to control the papacy during a period of great crisis. The sack of Rome in 1527, when the Holy Roman Empire plundered the city, occurred during Clement's reign. He failed to stop political forces from growing too powerful, leaving the church vulnerable to attack. Clement's inability to resolve the Great Schism and the political strife within the church marked his papacy as a time of weakness and failure to defend the papal authority. 10. Leo X. Pope Leo X was a patron of the arts and an extravagant spender, but his lavish lifestyle ultimately contributed to the financial crisis in the church. His use of indulgences, which were sold to fund his personal extravagance, led to the Protestant Reformation, spearheaded by Martin Luther. Leo's failure to address corruption within the church and his indulgence in luxury led to a cultural and religious fracture that divided Christianity. His legacy is one of greed, indulgence, and missed opportunities to reform the church. These 10 controversial popes were among the most corrupt and scandal-ridden in history, leaving a lasting impact on the church. But this is just the first part. There are even more popes with dark stories to uncover in our next video. If you're moved by these revelations, leave a comment and let us know your thoughts on these historical figures. Share your own insights or opinions, and don't forget to pray for our church. We all need to reflect and seek guidance. Like the video if you want to see more stories of the church's hidden past, and make sure you subscribe to our channel to stay updated on future episodes of this series. We have many more shocking stories to share, so you won't want to miss what's next. Stay tuned, and thank you for watching.